Today I'm going to show you how to draw this poinsettia flower. So the supplies that you'll need are an A5 piece of paper, which is 148mm by 210mm, pencil, rubber, protractor, ruler, a Fineliner pen, and if you're colouring it in with me as well, I'm actually using Derwent Inktense watercolour pencils. So I'm using these pencils with a brush and some water. So we're going to start off with our layout. As usual, I'm going to record this video in real time so that you can join along with me and draw along with me. And we're going to start off by getting ourselves the centre bracts or leaves of the poinsettia laid out. So we're going to start round about in the middle, and for these central leaves we're going to draw a 4cm vertical line, and then using our protractor place that at the end, so the crosshairs here line up with the end, and you're going to mark off 72 degrees and 144 degrees. Oops, that was correct on that side, and then the same on the other side. So bring the crosshairs down to the base, line it all up, and then you want to mark off from this side 72 degrees and then 144 degrees. And then that gives us an equal amount of the 5 leaves that they all go around equally. And so just line your ruler up with each of those points and just draw yourself a 4cm line. So likely your protractor is actually going to be longer than that 4cm line. So just take it, line it up here and just take your line down there. Okay, so that's the central point of all of our bracts laid out. Now the poinsettia leaf shape, if I just draw up here, imagine I've got that line there. I'm going to sort of imagine a crosshair around about 1/3 of the way up. And the leaf shape comes out quite bulbous towards the bottom to hit the edge of that crosshair line, and then it comes in actually quite rapidly and points up, and then there's a rounded end where if you do the same on the other side it just meets up, so a nice rounded end at the end there. So I'm going to just draw myself in again about 1/3 of the way up, some little crosshairs just as guidelines. And then I'm going to use those guidelines to draw the leaf shape. So I'm going to start from the middle, come out towards the end of the guideline, and then rapidly come in and do a curve at the top, and the same on the other side. And of course it doesn't have to be nice and straight because you want it to look organic and leaf-like. When you come to the next one, just overlap, it doesn't matter, so just start from the bottom, overlap, and again do exactly the same thing all the way around. So it's just coming in quite rapidly after you've hit that line point. Okay, so that's the first layer of bracts drawn out. So we're going to put in layer number 2, which, as you can see, layer number 2 is this redder layer here, and that's actually coming out in between all of the first layer of bracts. So that leaf shape is around about 5 centimeters long, so I'm just going to put myself a little marker in the center just so I can see where the 5 centimeter line is. And I'm only putting a marker here because I don't want to have the leaves dead center in those spaces there. I just want to know roughly where the 5 centimeter line is. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to start from the middle, and I'm just going to imagine to myself that that leaf is coming out, and then as soon as I hit a split free space which is behind, again I'm just going to imagine that leaf shape, and again from this one it's coming out like that and then moves up. I'm going to repeat that on each side, on each of the spaces. Okay, so that's layer number 2 done, and now we're just going to work on layer number 3. Layer number 3 just comes up somewhere behind those first bracts, and you don't want it to be, again, you can see some of them here, I've got them slightly offset from that first layer, so you don't want it to be, you know, too rigid and too following where the first layer of the leaves is. So just think about it in a more organic way. The length of those particular leaves is 6.5 centimeters, so I'm just going to rub these markers out, and then let me put in a 6.5 centimeter marker, roughly. Just so I've got a rough idea of how long I want to do those leaves. And then again, just imagine the length of that leaf. So if you think about it, about a third away down from that point, the widest part of the leaf is probably going to be about here. So again, I'm just going to imagine that leaf coming out from behind and then coming rapidly in, and probably coming out here, coming rapidly in. I'm going to offset this one a little bit. I'll offset this one a bit as well. And that's it for our layout. So the next little bit that we're going to do is just to work out the overlaps of the first layer of leaves. So you can see here that they all just slightly overlap. So just to remind myself, I'm just going to rub out that top line of that particular leaf. Move around to the next one. Rub out that line. And move my way around. Okay, and then the final part is just to put in the little central stamens. So just a few little circles random in the middle, and then we're ready to outline it. So I'm using a Faber Castell PITT artist pen size F, but if you've got Uni pens, then you can use size 0.3 or any other Fineliner that's waterproof, and then just go around all your leaves. In fact, I'm going to do my circles first, so I've got those sorted, and then continue around outlining all your leaves. So I'll leave you to do that, and then I'll come back when it's all outlined and show you the next stage. So that's the poinsettia leaves or bracts all outlined. So I'm just going to take an XS size Fineliner pen, and I'm just going to quickly put in those little lines to denote the central line of the leaves, very quickly, and then we'll get on to colouring. So I'll show you what colours that I'm using, and we're going to do 2 layers for each of the bracts so that we can give it a bit more vibrancy. And then once we've done the layers, I'll just show you a few little areas to shade as well, so you can give it a little bit more depth. Okay, so as I say, we're using Derwent Inktense pencils, and my first layers are going to be done with Sun Yellow, which is 0200, Tangerine, which is 0300, and Apple Green, which is 1400. And what we're going to do is colour in each of the different layers. So let's start off actually first of all with a little stamen. They all get coloured in yellow. And then for each layer, we're going to do the first layer of bracts is going to be yellow. And I would recommend that you colour in little circular movements rather than going up and down like that. Colour in little circular movements. And when you add the water, it tends not to show up your pencil strokes so much. So that first layer, so this one here, these are all going to be coloured in yellow. The next layer is all going to be orange, so this bract here, this one here, all of these, we're going to colour all of those in orange, and then the final outer layer is all going to be in apple green. So I'm going to colour all of those in, and then we'll get back to actually adding the water. That's all the layers coloured in pencil now. So we're just going to use, because these are watercolour pencils, we're just going to actually bring out the lovely vibrancy of these watercolour pencils, and just use some water to colour all the leaves in. You can see what a lovely difference that makes, especially with these Inktense pencils. So I'm going to go around the whole of the design using the water, and then I'll come back and we'll start on layer 2. Layer 1 has now had all the colour applied, and for layer 2 we're only going to use 2 colours this time. We're going to use Poppy Red, which is 0400, and Leaf Green, which is 1600. Now, starting off with the leaf green, this little centre area where we've got a little bit of white, I'm just going to put that leaf green in amongst all those little stamen areas there. And then the poppy red, we're actually going to use that over both the yellow and the orange layers. So this is going to just double up those layers and give them a lot more depth. So that's the yellow layer with a bit more on, and then this is the orange layer with a bit of the red on. And again, I'll go around all of that to finish that off. And then the leaf green goes on this top leaf, and then all the other layers. And once that's done, again, come back and just add your water to all of those. So, and you'll see how it starts to create a lovely depth to each of those different layers. So I'm going to go around, add the colours to all of those. So that's your poppy red to the yellow and red, and then the leaf green to the green areas. And then once that's done, add your water, and then come back and join me and I'll show you just a little bit of shading. So that's both of the layers penciled in, and then we've had water added to them. And now we're just going to do the final little touches, which is to add the shading. Now we're going to imagine that the light's coming from the top left hand corner and is coming down this way. So all our shading is going to be on the right hand side. So we're going to start off first of all just by taking the Tangerine, which is 0300, and just putting a little half crescent. You probably can't even see that on the screen, so let me bring it up. Just a little half crescent of orange just on that bottom right hand corner of all of those little stamens there. And then moving on, we're going to add, using the poppy red, which is 0400, we're going to just add a little bit of shading. So from this side, we're just going to add a little bit of shading underneath here, and then carry that around left hand side of that petal there, and then move around to here, add some shade in there, move around to this side, probably just a little bit just down the edges, and then where else, I think just a little bit underneath here, under this sort of area, so under each of these little stamen here. And just a little tiny bit under there, not too much because obviously the light's coming down that way. And probably just take that shading around a little bit more. But I think those would be the main areas. And then using the leaf green, which is 1600, carrying on, so we had a little bit of the red there, so I'm going to carry on with the green. Just bring that underneath, and some down here, a little bit in this corner. So just working your way around, just imagining where the light's going to be hitting and where it's going to be leaving a shadow underneath. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit in here. I know the light's coming that way, but just a little tiny bit, because there will be a bit of shadow from the top leaf to the bottom there. And I think that's about it. And we're done. So I hope you've enjoyed that video and have had a go yourself. I'd love to see what you've created, so please tag me on Instagram at Crafts for Wellbeing. All the details are in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.